for your win here today?
Look, man, it's Mirage, it's Simple versus Oscar. You could not ask for a better scenario, in my opinion, which is correct, of course. Everybody for NaVi in B apartments. They have a flashbang on Zeus. He's at the back, so he's going to be throwing it over the wall, as you can see, while they head to the window. So they need to avoid that engagement. Here comes the flashbang, Stiko avoiding it. That smoke grenade will allow his teammates to come through the door if he can hold that position. He's got his teammate on short as well. The crossfire is there. What do the teams do with this? Trying to force their way through the smoke. Not going to work out for Edward, though. Stiko still trying to hold it down, doing a great job. 2 kills for him. In the meantime, we've got players coming through from the market position. Rops delivering a kill onto Zeus, and it's Oscar on the high ground. Makes it really hard to plant the bomb, but that can't be the focus now. 2 versus 4. There are CTs everywhere.
I like this. They're going to try to take control of the kitchen. They know they're outnumbered. They have to make a play for frags, and they can't do it. And as you said, Stiko, he did a wonderful job getting those 2 initial frags. It's very difficult to do with a USP at this close range, but look how he set it up around the side of the smoke. That is not just calm, it is preparation in that scenario on the fly. So credit to Stiko for anchoring the bomb site there. It's one of those situations when the B bomb site, you know, you're up on the B bomb site attack, you have to get the numbers advantage as the CTs to really even things out, because it's so hard to push through the choke points if the Ts have just enough players to cover everything. So it worked out very well for Mousesports, and now Simple's got himself a deagle into the next round. And he used to be guaranteed a frag every time back in the days. Let's see if Simple's still good for it.
Mousesports focusing on the middle area for the time being. Chris J, Oscar, and Sunny, they're deep in mid. Keeping an eye on all the things. Oscar with a scout is great to watch as well. Ooh. Will that be his friend though, or will it be his enemy? Fortunately for him, Oscar is not towards jungle, so he can't see through the corner of that smoke. Flamey taken down towards a ramp. Stiko jump peeking in B, and there's a 2-man play. Sorry, there's a 3-man play, including the bomb. But what can they do? They still don't have any kills yet. The flashbang is there, but Stiko's the one to go down.
This is actually very scary, because if they can do enough on the side to keep them distracted, Simple's coming in with the flank with the deagle. So there is a lot of danger here, lurking in the shadows, but they must survive on the bomb site to allow Simple to be effective, but they cannot hold for enough time. If they could just buy Simple an extra 5 or 10 seconds, he could maybe have helped them to win the round, but instead they have the bomb do Mousesports, and they don't really have any impetus to move from their positions, and I'm sure they'll give Simple the level of respect that he deserves as a player. And they will not waver. Simple, though, gets a good opening, sees the bomb, picks up the M4 as well. Where are the remaining 2 players? That's the big question. That's the big ask. He has no Kevlar. He has no time. But so far, Mousesports almost have no players left. Very good effort there from Simple and the rest of his team to do so much damage in a position where they had almost no investment.
Yeah, so you see Simple moving here, but you can also see on the radar that Sunny is already in apartments, and his position stops the bomb from going down. You can see him there in the corner of Rops' screen. Sunny's position on the high ground really shuts things down before Simple can be activated, but great damage done from NaVi, and around the way you couldn't really expect much to be done. They got a lot out of that, and it seems that they're going to go for a force buy around this. 2 AKs and a bunch of pistols. They've got grenades that can allow them to get close enough to try and execute into a site. But will they?
Yeah, this is really cool. We actually just saw there was a quick check from Rops to see if there's anyone in the pits, but it's interesting what that information really gives you. You can't take it too for granted, because you can see Simple still lurking in the palace position. Takes out Rops, he's waiting for it. He could hear Rops running around, and now all of a sudden it's the battle in mid that will be won by Mousesports, but Simple may just have an opening onto the A side. He's not too convinced, but what he can do is pull rotation and distract the CTs, but they don't seem to really be buying it so far, just holding positions and trying, I presume, waiting for a plant. And this position from Zeus is quite scary.
Oh, but look at Stiko. Stiko's made his way from short back into B, while Zeus has made his way through market. And, oh, he's turned around and seen Stiko, but he hasn't got the kill. This is getting super weird now. But finally, Stiko will get taken down. The bomb still hasn't been spotted, but now Simple's the only man with the AK on the opposite side of the map. How does he get into play here? He may have to go for a late flank. The bomb has gone down. That makes his position much stronger.
And Simple getting a frag, much like the way he did in the previous round. And now it looks like there's not all that much that Mousesports can really do to best NaVi in this situation. Oscar, all he can really do is get a save onto the AK, and he looks like he'll be good for that, but again, you know, how are they doing so much damage? NaVi look very scary. They have not allowed Mousesports to stabilize even in the slightest.
This is a rough start for Mousesports.
It really is, yeah. Deadly stuff. And I love that they went for the force buy here. I think that's like a very good way to, you know, utilize players like Electronic, like Simple, like Flame. You have players that can play aggressively very, very well. And Simple's been playing very patiently here. Rops, he was running around a lot. He really gave Simple a pretty good chance to have all the info, to be expecting that potential fragging situation to occur, whereas Rops had no idea he was lurking there.
Force buy from Mousesports. Chris J's turn to be on the scout. It's been a while since we've seen the infamous days of Chris J with the scout. Oh, that was a close to a return. But not quite, not yet anyway, but he's still alive for the time being. Edward taken down by Sunny. Had a monstrous performance on Mirage at the ECS finals. Maybe it will continue today.
Yeah, the Oscar actually gave the AK save to Sunny, so it does tell you that, you know, Sunny is one of those players on Mirage. It's a map that he feels very good on, as you say. Was breaking a world record against the world record holders themselves on this map over at Cancun, and it's not gone too well here for NaVi, trying to bust their way through onto the B-bomb site, but they are surrounded. And there will be no call for them to come out with their hands up. The only result here for Mousesports is 5 dead NaVi players in this round. And they will start the flanking action. Rops has gotten info towards T-spawn. Once he has a good vision of T-spawn, he's going to be very aware that nothing is possible, but he's playing a very, very safe off angle there.
Heard some comms as well from Mousesports, who are close to us, and someone said they're both in B-App, so going back now. So Robs is not going to go too far. Just going to hold his position. He's got a nice off angle. And lots of time is being killed here from NaVi. Heading towards middle. And it seems they're maybe going to run the clock here and try and hold on to what they have, because mid is not the place you want to go in a situation like this.
Mousesports are giving nothing away. Absolutely zero. This is kind of a scary prospect for NaVi, because they will be reset completely. So this will give Mousesports the Mac 10 long range. And in case you haven't played much Counter-Strike before, not a good look.
Not advisable.
Although Rops is getting a bit closer, maybe there's a chance, but will he die off the time? Rops doesn't look the right way, and in fact, actually, they'll survive and get a couple kills from it. That has worked out fairly well for NaVi, and they may just, I mean, they probably should go for the force buy behind this. Their money sucks so much, and indeed, I think they will. This is a weird game, James. I feel like we've had some strange ones.
Yeah, it is a weird game, and it was an interesting predicament towards the end of that round if Mousesports should even try to hunt these players, because they aren't really in the best situation to afford the losses. So they'll have FAMAS and a scout again in this round onto Oscar, who's made his way towards the B bomb site. Chris J playing connector now, and Sunny in the window as NaVi make a very fast play into the A site. They're trading so far, but now there are 2 more plays to deal with.
It's going quite well so far for Mousesports, controlling things. Oh my God, Chris, but the transfer, that is phenomenal. Simple though, not done just yet. Looks to try to take Chris down, but we've seen how good his rifling can be, and he proves it once again. 4-1 for Mousesports with that very quick defense.
That spray transfer was gangster, with a silenced M4 no less. 2/3 of the M4A4 bullets. Not an easy job, but Chris J has proved to be a very dangerous rifler. I still think he slept on what he does for Mousesports with a rifle, with Oscar being the main sniper in most situations. Anyway, it seems the force buys have come to an end for the time being, but the Deagles are out, at least 2 of them, onto Simple and Edward. 4-1, despite the rough rounds of both teams. It is a good score so far for Mousesports, but they do need to stabilize their economy.
It's a bit afraid for Simple there. He was actually peeking Wizard Eagle with the bomb, no less. And now there's the bomb. So that's great.
Ouch!
Will be a frag back though, but again, seeing the bomb allows CT to be more confident in the aggression, but you can see that it's actually maybe not paying off all that well for them. Again, they've got a lot of grenades, they've got a lot of firepower, and they will start to move in even further. So the bomb has acted as a really big bait, and actually may have been a pretty big value play after all.
Yeah, so Again, you can hear Mousesports just coordinating the peak. Peak, 3 guys, all peak at the same time. So they've got maximum trade opportunities should they be required. And that's another round in the bag. But again, it was an expensive round for them. Just considering NaVi's investment, they got a fair amount out of that. And now NaVi are coming for them with a 1-5 scoreline and 5 AKs, a bunch of grenades.
I do wonder, actually, if Chris J is like one of the only players using an M4A1S now. Because even, you know, like
even Rainman's at M4A4.
Exactly, like likes of G2 as well. Like they had players you like to, like Shock sometimes like to go to the silencer. But
look at mid here. We saw stereo smoke grenades being deployed by the T side, but they weren't ready. They had nobody lurking top mid, and Oscar and Chris J made their way up there very quickly indeed. And in the meantime, Zeus is making his way forwards in B-Apps, but he's been forced to run to top mid. And now Stiko's making his way through B-Apps with a very deep smoke. Look at that smoke. I do wonder if he's seen that from the Gambit stats on Reddit recently. That is a disgusting shot from Oscar. Mousesports looking strong at the moment.
He is looking at full confidence here. We'll see if he can get anything else out of this. Of course, this peak from Simple. He's been trying to work Palace a lot this match so far. So he's trying to creep through the connector. There's a lot of players to watch pretty much everything for Mousesports. And Simple will try to get out there on the distraction perhaps, but Sonny will deal with Zeus. Simple still can't get the peak that he wants. A 4 versus 2 on the defense of A. Mousesports repositioning somewhat. And there is a kill for Simple, but the return from Oscar, still alive, still kicking, still alive, but not for too much longer. Flamey will get the trade. A 1 versus 2, which is kind of a good result if we look at where things were, but it will end as another victory for Mousesports. And I love... James, as someone that does like to warp, when do you do this? This is a very bold play. Imagine if 2 riflers decided to go top mid. How do you deal with that? It's actually kind of insane.
I do this all the time, Dan.
It
is fine. Towards the end there, I've got to say it's an unfortunate situation for Flamey because the bomb was above the shadow position, which is why he was jumping on the bricks there. By the bricks itself is an okay position for him if you want to take an angle towards CT because most of his body is covered, but the bomb left him completely exposed to the elements, and the elements this time were bullets. 6-1 in favor of Mousesports. And now they're in danger of running away with the half, perhaps.
Yeah, Oscar seems to be confident and looking good and being able to have the freedom to do what he wants because the economy's there. And they have a buffer of rounds to work with. So that is a very scary prospect. However, I say the economy is there. It's not really, to be honest. They've been winning rounds, sure, and there is some money, but it's very limited due to the nature of how NaVi just consistently deals so much damage. But we'll have to see if this can be that one clean round. And Oscar starts it off with a bang.
Oscar's, he's in his pajamas right now. He's got his slippers out. He's got a bowl of cereal next to him, despite it being midday. That's not terrible.
Gamer hours, man. It's gamer hours.
Yeah, yeah. He is. He's extremely comfortable. He hasn't changed his underwear in 3 days. Life is good.
I don't know if that's is that comfortable for you, James. I don't know if that's really.
Hey, I wasn't talking about me.
Prefer clean underwear myself, but
yeah, but I'm talking gamer life, man. I'm sure there are gamers out there who don't change their underwear for a number of days.
Well, we're at 7-1. Have no further comment on that subject. Oscar is changing up his position. We've seen him go mid a couple of times. Now he's going towards the B peak, and the timing could be really, really good here. We can see that there is quite some presence there. They may not expect a very aggressive, a very willing and capable Oscar. And Chris can create distraction as well. Now they'll look to be dealing with the underpass stairs, and in that moment, Oscar's taking more position, more liberties. Simple could get crushed if he tries to peek this angle. Chris gets another kill. Everything's falling apart, but just like that, an opening on the A site.
Yeah, that was really cool, but there are frags all over this map, and the bomb has to go down fast. Electronic has no cover, but he's got to plant it before the CT rotation comes in, and he will. Simple is still in B-Apps at the moment. It's not safe for him to go through the underpass to mid, but he's got to make a run for it. The bomb's not planted for him either, so he's going to have to run to T-spawn. There are Molotovs in. Electronic's been forced out. He's been flushed out, driven like a partridge. Will Stika go for the bomb plant? They have no idea where Simple is, and surely he can't get there. Running through the palace, he'll be heard, and that will give Mousesports the confidence to defuse the bomb. There were so many crazy things going on in that round. I think Simple, when he was in the apartments, heard Oscar jumping up, which is why after Zeus was taken out here by Chris, I mean, this would often bring you, you'd want to run back and then get shot by Oscar. However, Edward is here, but Simple was trained towards apartments the entire time, went for the wide pick, took him out, but ultimately it was not enough. 8-1 is the scoreline.
Wow. It's kind of insane. Mousesports, they're 8-1. That is actually quite mental. They're going for another aggression into mid. Oh, Sunny makes the jump across. And they have to worry about Oscar now as well. He wants to make damage, even more damage, make it even worse. Insult added to injury. Oscar goes in for another peek. He spots the peek of an opponent there, but can't quite find the angle just yet as NaVi will start to fade away from mid. And they have been well and truly bullied off of map control. They can't seem to take mid against Mousesports unless Mousesports want to give it to them, James. It seems very difficult.
No fear whatsoever. Mousesports are the big boys now. Zeus and Electronic tentatively, carefully peeking top mid. Forced to use some utility. Trying to create some presence, trying to add a fourth man. Using those smoke grenades will suggest that somebody could be behind the boxes top mid. CTs aren't in position to find out. So they'll have to be aware of that, afraid of that. And it will compromise some positions. Flamey with a great burst towards CT. Spots the player by connector as well. And that's Chris J forced away. Again, he's going back towards CT now. Doesn't know if anybody's in the mid area, and that may contain Oscar and Sunny for a while.
This is pretty okay for Mousesports though, because they can play retake. The only thing really is that Chris has to be quite careful, but he does manage to find a brilliant opportunity. That's the bomb. It's on the ground as well. How do they do this? They've got 2 players against 4. They have to collect the bomb. The time is completely against them. Electronic has a frag, but they need much, much more in this position. Does he win another 1v1? Yes, he does, but the time is still of the essence. 10 seconds to plant the bomb. Too much desperation. Too little to work with. Another round for Mouse.
It's a brutal situation for Flamey at the end there. Does he take the duel when he's carrying the bomb, or does he try and plant the bomb? If he tries to plant the bomb, he can only plant it on triple, and they're right next to triple, essentially. So, a rough round for NaVi once again, and it's 9-1.
And look at the mid takes we're seeing again from Mousesports. It's really, really important because it denies so much from the T game plan. It creates a lot of opportunities for the CTs to get information and knowledge as to what the Ts are doing. And you feel more confident. You feel like you can assert yourself more. And right now it's NaVi that are the ones that feel sort of oppressed and like they can't really get their game plan going, and they constantly have to fight off the back foot. They're doing quite well, but they aren't posting the rounds despite a lot of these sort of clutch scenarios we're seeing at the end of these rounds.
2 smokes on short often suggests a fast play, but Chris J, his vision is not obscured for the time being, but he's got to be careful for the pop flashes. In the ladder position, if the vent is popped, then he can make his way onto the bricks, but the vent is not popped, unfortunately. There's a pop flash to allow NaVi to move into the connector position, which isn't smoked off, so there are angles to be held, but it's Ropster, not Oscar, so it's dangerous waters. Speaking of dangerous, here is Oscar on short.
Yeah, they did have this very tentative apps push in lieu of the fact that they decided to give up middle this round, but we can see that it's not really boded too well, though. Sunny will be able to win the battles towards the pit, which is good and important, but oh, there you go. That's a very, very fancy way to finish off a round. Simple was going to be happy with that one, and NaVi will pick it up. And I mean, it's an interesting situation. What do you think about this, James? I think in this round, obviously, we're seeing loads of success on mid takes from Mousesports. A lot of success, but they basically showed here they don't want to do it every single round because you don't want to be predictable, right? But should they, is the question. Because once they gave up the territory to NaVi, NaVi worked with it expertly.
I think it's important to keep your opponent surprised and not expecting anything. Oscar wins the early duel with Simple. Haven't seen many of those just yet. That is an important player down for NaVi. That said, they are investing in these smokes, and they have got 2 players top mid, but you can't get anything done with it. Frags going around the A site in the meantime. Flamey doing some damage, but 3 versus 4 in favor of Mousesports. I don't think they're too concerned for the time being. Stico, he's up on the boxes. This angle is very difficult to pre-fire if you are on the T side, and it's not something you necessarily want to pre-fire, because if you start firing your bullets, you're going to give your position away if no one's there. Stico doing great damage. Now he can buy time for his team, taking some damage, but it's a 4 versus 2. I don't know if Electronic was carrying the bomb during that duel. Not sure if it was spotted. 2 people still staying towards A. Rops is deep in Palace. So while all this is being going on, he's got a very nasty off angle. So if they try to plant later on, he will be a problem.
This is a very stressful and hopeless situation for NaVi to try to deal with. By the way, I do like the little detail that Simple got the double in the last round with the AWP, and this round, Oscar killed Simple by shooting through his teammate and getting the penetration kill. So poor Sunny losing half his health, but it was for a good cause. And here we can see NaVi don't really have any opportunity or any... Of course, they're just trying to survive at this point. They don't have time to do anything. They know that their odds are not good. They have to give the level of respect that a team like Mousesports deserves in a 4v2, that they wouldn't make some crazy mistake and somehow allow NaVi in. So instead, the better value play is to try to hold on to the AWP and to the AK. They have utility too. Their money is not amazing, but they can force it up in the following round and have a decent looking buy if they survive here. And Mousesports decide to leave them to it. Gentleman's agreement, perhaps.
That's crazy.
That's so awesome, isn't it?
From out of nowhere.
How does he... Okay, let's...
Boom.
Oh my goodness, that's beautiful.
From out of nowhere.
Just in the arse there.
Spin that wheel, baby. Spin that wheel. Boom.
This the booty shot up close. Doesn't matter. Oscar is focused. Eye on the prize, James.
Sports with 5 times the score of their opponent. 2 AWPs. It is a joyous occasion. Haven't even mentioned Go TV picks, but on the CT side for Mousesports has to be Oscar. It's a bit late now.
Goes without saying, James. It's fine.
But what about the second half?
Simple and Oscar, Rops, Sunny, Chris, Flamey, Electronic. There you go.
Okay, I'm never asking you again, literally ever. I think Oscar and Simple are just good picks for Mirage in general. Flamey's been good in some rounds on the T side so far as well, but not really lighting up the scoreboard. But then the whole team on for NaVi. Minute 15 on the clock, and NaVi starts slow towards the mid area. 2 people concentrated on it though, Electronic and Edwards, just waiting for a push to come in. But this is why it's great to not do it every round. This is something that Virtus Pro were beasts on way back when. Especially on Mirage, you never know when they're going to push, so you end up wasting so much time waiting for it, and it never comes when you wait for it. So now there's 50 seconds left, and NaVi haven't really achieved anything in this round. They've had Simple towards B and Flamey waiting on ramp, but look at, you've got the SK set up here on the ramp with Oscar and Rops. So nasty surprises are in store. Ooh, that's interesting. A different approach, but this might make it just one frag for Rops. He just about gets out in time. I don't know if he spotted anybody. Some flashbangs going in. They could do with a Molotov behind that smoke, but I don't think they've realized what's going on. This is getting really weird. 25 seconds, and they're crawling into A.
Yeah, Oscar repositioning to actually a safer spot to defend this from. And he's going to get the pick and the info. So it's Mousesports with first point of contact. That is not how this was supposed to go. Simple will be able to get a trade onto Ross, but 10 seconds to plant the bomb. There's surely no way here. The desperate sprint across will be made by Flamey, but he can't do it. Oscar, Chris, Sunny raining in all the bullets, and NaVi are doing not so well here. This is one of the things I do wonder about this, James, is whether or not NaVi should consider delayed mid takes or try to have a different approach to mid takes, because they seem to just sort of give up on taking mid. And it seems like they've only tried to take mid very quickly when you have all the rush timings working into CT's favor. So we'll have to see if there is any adjustment into the last couple rounds, but
Doesn't matter when you want to take mid. You're taking mid versus Oscar, and that's the problem.
Well, he's not going to hold there the entire rounds. Is kind of my point, at least. You can work underpass more, perhaps. I'm not sure. It seemed, but that was one option we didn't see utilized from NaVi. So it leads me to wonder, James. I'm wondering what could be.
NaVi fighting, clawing for anything they can get. 2 rounds remain in this first half. And B is going to be the play. Stico doesn't have much support. Chris J, though, is on short. So once these smokes come in, he can rotate there. Sonny can keep an eye on mid in the meantime. And Chris J's position, if he can avoid the flashbangs, will be strong. Here come the smoke grenades, though, and they may obscure his vision. He's waiting for the flashes, standing behind the bricks. In the meantime, Edwards moving away from the B bomb site now, and Simple seems to be heading in on his own with the bomb, or just waiting. What is the player from NaVi? They've got 3 people now in the middle area. Are they trying to sell effect towards A?
Jay's going to spot it, whiffs the shot, pulls out the P250, misses, and that's a massive opportunity now. The 5 versus 3. It's down to csgo to try to anchor this bomb site. He's been making very good decisions here, but he has to hit the shots as well. Oscar goes down around him, only 1 bullet fired. It's a frag, it's a double from Rops. Now as he picks up the AWP, oh, that is beautiful there from Rops. And NaVi can't quite seem to get anything going. Just when you think they might do it, Rops steps in to save the day.
Man like Rops, and you can see Oscar is impressed with that one, but Rops is keeping his cool, no pun intended. That was exquisite. It's nice to see a B split as well from NaVi. It's very rare to see that, even on buy rounds from T side. It's just the presence of mind, man.
How does he know to pick up the AWP and instantly take that angle, man? It's so crazy.
Rops is awesomeness. He is the personification of awesomeness. NaVi forced on the force for the last round of the first half. They have a UMP onto Electronic and a bunch of pistols, lots of flashbangs, lots of smokes, but they have not yielded much so far. Oscar again is like,
I'm bored.
He needs more cereal. He needs to go to the shop.
I am bored. Where are the T's?
He doesn't even have anybody covering underpass. He's just like,
just out there, man.
He just don't care. And that's why you love to watch Oscar. You love to see it.
And maybe that's just like part of the conditioning. It's like, well, it must be nice when you have one player that can just do 3 positions at once.
Ooh, Edwards top mid now. Can he avoid the trade though? Edwards on the corner. Oh, he was throwing a grenade, so he can't trade. In the meantime, 3 NaVi players are heading towards A with the bomb. Sonny and Rops are in position. And Oscar is not far away. They've thrown smokes towards jungle, towards connector, but they haven't smoked Oscar off. But he may be having to keep an eye on Edward, who is about to walk through that smoke. There's a slight gap. I don't think he was being seen on the radar or through the eyes. Sonny playing the slow game, allowing his teammate Rops to run distraction from CT. And here's Oscar. But where's Edward? Flamey is going to get the kill. And now out comes Sonny. Rops is still alive in the meantime. This is a big problem for NaVi. Long range, the M4 will prevail. 30 seconds left. Flamey, 35 HP, 1 versus 3. csgo, connector, Chris J, jungle, and Rops will double up in that position. So now they've got basically 4 people because Flamey's still looking towards CT.
And yeah, Mousesports have reset it, slowed it down a little bit. Just leaving Flamey to sort of linger in the existential dread of his position. And that'll be a devastating scoreline, 13-2. And I have to ask the question, what is the decision-making process going behind sending Oscar in mid so open to so many positions? Is it because they feel like, hey, we know they've got a force buy and that they won't have guns where they feel confident to challenge mid? But that still feels like a big gamble.
If they can't win mid when they've got rifles, they're not going to win mid with pistols. Also, Oscar.
I think what the answer is, James, is just simply Oscar. I think that's where we need to go with that. But how do you come back from this? You know, you're playing. Obviously, you need to win that pistol round, and you need to get that confidence going. And you need to remember how to frag people again, because that's sometimes what happens when you lose in such a devastating way. It just doesn't feel like you just don't have any momentum at all. Your confidence wanes a little bit. So we'll have to see if the experience of the NaVi players can bring them back. They need someone like Simple to just have a big round. Electronic, someone to have a big round just to get that morale up.
Simple has a positive score somehow.
That's interesting.
He is 13 for 12. But we can't really take much from that in this situation. But it's just interesting to note. 13-2. And there is a pause. I'm not sure the nature of the pause at present. And now there is an unpause. So we can move on with the second half. What will we see from Mousesports on the T side? Rops has been made the raid boss. He's been given a P250 by csgo, one would presume.
Nice.
So he has almost double the range of a Glock. Love to see it on a T pistol. All Kevlar for NaVi. No defuse kits. Looking for headshots. And they need them. They need them bad.
Oscar taking the 1v1, long range, you know, with the Glock versus the USP. That's, again, there's Oscar things. Hashtag Oscar things. Ooh, boost into the window. This should be fun. Sonny is the one to be elevated, but also, just as quickly as he's elevated, he will descend in a lifeless manner. Now down to Rops, perhaps, with the P250, tagged up a little bit as he tries to get an angle here, looking over the smoke, exposed to jungle as well. Flamey just can't quite get this kill.
What is that?
180 and in the face. That is not a good look. NaVi down to 2 against the 3 now, just Electronic. But he can do this. These players are very, very weak.
And you wonder why Chris J is jumping there, but if the headshot got landed, it may take 6 bullets to kill him. And that's a lot of bullets to land. So despite the early promise of the shot from Simple, the round is with Mousesports. This could be a 16-2. The force buy is demanded of NaVi, and it will come in. CZs, a Deagle, some bits and bobs. They don't have a single grenade, not a flashbang for ramp, not a flashbang for top mid. This is quite the task ahead of them. I do note that there were decoys. There were 2 decoys in B at some point of that pistol round. I don't know if they were thrown by the T side or... But so there we go. So there's a Palace push from Zeus and Electronic. Rops should hear this, though, from his position. But what do Mousesports do in reaction? Electronic will stay there. Zeus will make his exit. And it seems they're heading off to stack the B bomb site, thinking that Electronic is a snake in the grass. The grass has already been cut by Mousesports.
Yeah, they are in a great position, leaving Sunny and Connector here with the Mag-10. It's so awesome when you can leave a player in the ladder room, or better yet, the Connector. You can just play so well off of it if it's just a single player, or you can build a 3-man push, as we'll maybe see here. We do have also coming in with a scout, and Chris will get the first frag. The smoke's still up there on short to cover their approach. I think it will dissipate soon, but it doesn't matter. The players of NaVi are starting to fall, and they're all in the same position as well, which does not bode well, considering that they're also at a 2-man disadvantage in this round.
The entire time, Rops was waiting for that push from Electronic and punishment for it. So, death by paper cuts, it seems, but Simple still trying to keep that positive key KD. 13 now in the CPL position, but maybe death looms for him. He is the last man standing for the team with the Deagle. Distracted from mid, slaughtered from jungle. 15-2, match point Mousesports.
Seems like it's going to be coming to a close here very soon, and this is definitely a map which I've enjoyed watching Mousesports on in the past, and a lot of it does come down to the fact that you have sort of a player for everything. You know, Sunny can be a really explosive rifler. He doesn't often have necessarily the best CT size, but when you get him on that T side, he can open up everything. Rops is really good at lurking, a very good all-rounded player. Oscar, obviously, suited so well to this map on both sides. They just have some fun dynamics on this map, so never an easy task to take down Mousesports here, as FaZe also landed in Cancun, and we'll see whether or not this quick B rush, James, will finish it off for Mousesports.
Flying into the B-bomb site. Long-range Mag-10 will prevail for the time being. The Deagles are being rattled off. Zeus good for the 1 kill. Simple's here again. He's picked up a UMP. And Electronic delivers a kill with a CZ. 2 versus 2 very quickly. Mousesports trying to put this one to bed early. But it seems that NaVi are full of caffeine, at least for this round. Rop's taken out now, and Oscar is alone. He's got time, he's got angles. He seems to know where Electronic is. Oh, looking to his left, he gets his bell rung. Maybe through the box. 42 HP left. This is doable. If he keeps going to his right, he might find a second player as well before they can figure out what's up or get something done. Flamey with a scout. This is so awkward for NaVi. Very awkward indeed. Sees one player, misses a shot though, looking for the trade fragger, but no one's popping out just yet. 11 bullets left. Surely it's enough. Dropping a smoke down. There's a shot from Flamey. He has conceded his position. He's taken the bait. But little does he know that Oscar's the predator. 16-2.
Oscar played that situation really intelligently, by the way, which is, I mean, it just shows sort of the breadth that he has. And, well, 16-2. Very strong start to day 2 for Mousesports. And if you're a Mousesports